Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the opportunity to share some interesting perspective, what we think is interesting perspective on digital engagement. And then as this is demo day, I have a demonstration prepared as well. But I would just love to say that, I love what your community is doing, right? As collegiate conference and event directors, you are building the environments and the opportunities for people to connect, people to discover one another, and you make an impact on campus. And I'm sure, you don't hear thank you enough, but if all the people that you are helping on campus could say thank you, I know that they would. So I will also say thank you for all your work that you're doing. So here's what I have planned. Just a brief introduction on Concept3D, our company. And then I want to share a brief point of view on why digital engagement and personalization is so important when you're thinking about your events as it impacts the student experience. And then I have the demonstration prepared. And then after that, we'll have time left over for questions. So that is the plan for the next bit of time that we are together. I'm sure some of you have heard of Concept3D, or you've heard of localist events. So that is us. And we have been serving college campuses, students, teachers, staff. We've been doing this since 2006. And we have the great honor and privilege of working every single day with, we're getting close to 700 campuses. And that is everyone from your smaller community colleges to your state and land grant to your very large universities like Penn State, The Ohio State University, and many others. And so as you think about the work that we do, it's all around digital engagement. And today we have a focus on the localist events platform, which I'll get into momentarily. If you look broadly, we look at how many unique students are engaging using the technology we provide on an annual basis, and we have passed over the 4 million mark a year. All right, digital engagement, right? As you think about what's happening and how digital engagement has just become more and more important in the work that you do, I would love to just share some perspective with you, and I'll be very brief about this. So, it's interesting, if you look back at 2010, that's when Instagram launched. So when Instagram launched, that was a whole new way of using technology to, to engage with a campus and to engage with one another as students, and to also have events in social media as well. So 2010, that's when college enrollment was at its peak. Instagram launches. Fast forward to 2016, enrollment starts to decline, and you start to see this drop in enrollment. And TikTok is also now being launched. Let's fast forward to 2020, the year of the pandemic, as challenges continued to face campuses in terms of how students interact with the campus, how they interact with events. And then we also start to want to, spotlight how screen time, right? The screen time that's used by students and really all users of, all consumers of technology, it increased 50%. And then now let's look at this year of 2023. Universities are continuing to have to solve for some of the challenges with enrollment decline. And again, let's look at screen time. Screen time is continuing to increase. So you've got the challenges that universities face across the spectrum in events, but also for student enrollment and student success. But then you've also got this increase in screen time that's happening. And so that's where digital engagement just continues to be a priority for no matter what your role is on campus, especially if you're in conference and events. So just wanted to spotlight this where we recognize the need for really great approaches. And at Concept3D, we are always working hard to bring innovative approaches and better ways of doing things that, things you've been doing for a long time, for example, like events, and we'll talk about event calendars. So, event calendars is one of our 4 products, just so you've got a big picture of the work that we do with colleges and universities. We started off with interactive maps, and interactive mapping, it's a content management system that allows for universities and colleges to put all of their content and their events into an interactive, mobile-friendly map that provides wayfinding to get you from point A to point B. And so we do a lot of work with campuses who are moving from their PDF maps or homegrown maps into a very modern interactive experience. Our second product that we brought into the market for higher education were virtual tours. Virtual tours is used largely for student recruitment, but it is also used in the event space as well. And then localist events. So if you're familiar with localist events, but the name Concept3D may not be familiar with you, we brought localist events into the Concept3D family. We did that over a year ago, and we've been able to continue to build and integrate that product into all the good work that campuses are looking to do to drive better results for events. And then our newest product, I'll just share this with you, is called My Campus Experience. And My Campus Experience allows for personalized engagement with students. And so the way this works in My Campus Experience is, as a current student or a prospective student, when I come into My Campus Experience, I can select a major I'm interested in. I can add interests that so maybe it's travel, maybe it's music, whatever those interests are, I can select those. And then I get personalized content recommendations to virtual tours I should look at, locations on campus I should look at, and then of course the events that are relevant to my interests. So we're very excited about the continued growth that we have at Concept3D on the products front to help drive digital engagement on the college campus. Let's take a dive into localist events. This couple things just to let you know about this platform. It's, event calendars are not new. Event calendars have been out for a very, very, very long time. Every single one of you on this call, I'm sure you have at least one event calendar on your campus, and you're probably very involved with that event calendar. And so our approach to event calendars and enabling event success is really around enabling events or marketing to be able to bring in events from no matter where they might get originated in or originated around campus, and bring those into a centralized branded experience that makes it easy to discover those events as a student, but also to make it easy for event managers to manage those events. So that's really what localist events is. It's no code is required to be able to deploy it. Although if you're really looking to get into the CSS code, that is available for our clients to do that. So here's a point of view on impact. And so one of the things we oftentimes hear when campuses are looking at that decision of should they stay with their current platform or should they be looking at a better way of enabling and supporting their events ecosystem. And one of those things that we do hear more and more about is, how do we drive more engagement with all the different kinds of events and groups that are happening on campus? And so we're very happy to be able to share these two types of examples. The first one is with Missouri Science and Technology. And so comparing their older platform that they were on to after they moved to localist events, they saw their event web traffic increase 450%. One of the challenges that you might have with some event calendars is it can be very cumbersome to have the workflow that you need that supports the creation and management of those events. And we're very pleased to be able to share that, The experience in our platform makes it really easy to have the workflow that you need to support approvals and the submission of those events. The other thing we oftentimes see is how when a college or university is moving from their current events platform into localist events, you end up getting a higher number of events that are being created, either through the public event submission or through the having an account and being able to create and manage your events directly. And then with University of Louisville, I'll just move on real quick here as well to the University of Louisville, a bit more data. And so there's a great case study on our website, concept3d.com, and you'll see the case studies there. This is where, when they moved over to localist events, their event web traffic skyrocketed, their event attendance skyrocketed, and they had a very healthy improvement on the number of events that were being created and discovered through our platform. So this is something that we're very pleased, and we're always looking for new ways to even improve, to help our campus partners build that ecosystem of events so that you're able to better accomplish the goals that you need when you think about what you're trying to accomplish with events and event management. All right, let me exit out of this for just a moment, and then I'll go into a demonstration. I'll show two different examples of the localist events platform. And so this first example is with BGSU. And so what you're seeing here is the landing page of the Bowling Green events calendar. This is the software as a service that you are seeing that is delivering this website and the pages within this website. It's pulling in a CNAME. You'll see it at the top, so it's tailored to their brand, their domain. You also see the university header right when you come in, and then as you look through this and all the other pages, you'll see that the university's footer is in here as well. So even though this whole experience that you see on this page and the following pages, even though that is the localist events technology, right? It's fully branded and tailored to the university. So coming in on the very top here, you'll see that there's a search capability, there's a login capability, sign up as well. You'll see this, there's just a static event here, but oftentimes what some of our customers are doing is they have a events carousel. This is Miami University. And so what you're seeing here when you first come on the page, whether it's web or mobile, you're having kind of a carousel of events that are coming in, allows you to select you're interested, or you can even register for the event after you click in. And so when you move down into the events, you'll see these different tabs at the top. So these are fully customizable to the way in which you want to present your major categories of events. BGSU is using trending, they're using upcoming, and then of course they're pulling in the academic calendar events. And if you'd like to see a different approach here, you can see Miami, Ohio is doing trending by date, and then dates and deadlines. All right, so those are fully customizable to you. And then this is where you're having a default display of events. But of course, as a student, if you're looking to discover events that are during a specific time, or you're looking for in-person or just virtual events, you can do that as well. Coming into event types, again, this is where, when we're helping, whether we're doing the full setup or whether we're training and helping a university, do the build out of their new localist events platform. This is where the classifications of events really comes into play, so that you can select all the various categories that you want to begin using out of the gate. And then, this is where you have target audience. So who's the target audience for that event? And of course, you have your long list of topics in here as well. So that is just a little bit of the filtering. You can also come in here and you can view calendar resources. Just another way that as a student or as a attendee, a targeted person for your events, another way that they can come in and view like very specific types of information, including sub-calendars. All right. So let's just go into an event. So each event is going to have its own event web page. You've got, I think, as you notice, when you come into any of these events in the Localist Events platform, it's very visual, right? It's even though there's plenty of text in here, we want it to be visual. We want it to be easy for that student to be able to consume what they need, click where they need to, and then continue to engage with that event. So I'm not going to go too deep into all the aspects of this, but certainly if this is a platform that you would love to learn more about, we can definitely schedule some time with you to do that. And then one of the other things I'll just mention here is public events. This is a pretty common and popular capability here where you can allow for anyone in your community to submit an event. It's going to force a login, but this can be a public member. This can be any student, any faculty member who is looking to suggest or even host an event. And this is the way that they can do that directly from their events calendar. One other connection I will share here as well is being able to bring in events and help those events be discoverable in your interactive map. And so the way we do that is, let's clear the parking information and let's open up events. So this is the interactive mapping platform that a lot of universities and colleges are using, powered by Concept3D. When we bring in events to a map, there's 3 default categories that events will get put into. You can adjust these, you can change these. You can create additional categories of events. And a common example of that would be orientation or move-in day or commencement. And so if you're looking to group events in that way, you can certainly do that. I'll just take a look at this week's events. And so if I click public, ice skating, now, not only was I able to see where all of today's events are on campus, but now I can come in, I could share this with some friends. I could post it on social. Here's some event information. I can see where it's at on the map, on the campus. But if I wanted to view more information, I could click into the event details. And now this is the Localist Events platform. That just brought me in to view more details and also to click I'm interested if that's something that I want. So I hope that's helpful. One other thing I will mention that's very common is event feeds. And so oftentimes as we're working with our campus partners who are deploying these calendars, you'll oftentimes have questions around, hey, athletics has their own calendar, but we'd like to bring in their events. The business school, they have their own homegrown calendar. We want to bring those events into the centralized event calendar. Can we do that? And the answer is, of course. And the way we do that is by enabling you to log into the back end, go into data feeds, put in the RSS or the iCal. There's some other formats you can use as well. And it makes it really easy to bring in all of those events from campus into a centralized experience so that you have all the events happening on campus that you want in a centralized experience. I hope that's helpful. And like I said, if there's any questions, would love to dig in with you on if you have any, feel free to put them in the chat.
Thank you, Tim. Actually, I do have a couple questions, and if you want to just give me back the control. Then
Absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, I am. One of the questions came in is like, can it handle like revenue? Can it handle financial transactions? Like if there's tickets, obviously.
Yes. That's another very, very common use. We have a feature in the platform called Register. And so as an event manager, as you're creating that event, you can also have the registration capability in there as well. And if you're looking to charge for those tickets, or maybe it's a special parking pass, or whatever it might be, our register capability allows you to do that. And then you can hook it up to your payment processor to then process that transaction. But it's a really good tool. A lot of campuses use it. It's used in, centralized ways where the university is trying to hold events and generate some revenue for those events. But it's also used by student groups who are looking to generate some revenue for, maybe they have a special speaker in engineering coming in, and they want to hold that event and charge $5 for a ticket. It's a great tool and a great resource for really all of those groups and organizations on campus.
Yeah. Well, and I also have to say, I went to BGSU, so when you saw that, I'm
Great
like,
campus.
oh, there it
Great
is.
campus.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the cornfields.
It's a great place. It really is. And
It is.
I mean,
It's typical college town, but yeah, it is just kind of sitting out there in the plains of Ohio. And then there was a couple questions too. I know you mentioned it briefly in your presentation about HTML knowledge. I mean, so really you don't have to have any.
correct. And so it is quite often where we are deploying with a marketing team or a web and technology services team, and they are non-technical. That is the norm of how things work. At least the people that we're working directly with, like, you don't have to have coding experience. You don't have to know CSS styling and how to do that. This really is an easy to use point and click system. However, we do have some partners who have, very deep, very deep capability in website and website development. And so for those website developers who want to get into the back end, get into the styling, and make a lot of changes, they are more than welcome to do that. And so, but most of the time our deployments are, with non-technical folks who are really trying to just achieve better engagement and move on to a platform that delivers better results and is easier to use.
That's exactly what the type of thing I need as well. What's some of the feedback you've been getting from the students as far as what are they saying? Are they giving you any feedback, I guess?
For sure. Well, the more feedback we get, the better. One of the areas where we have heard feedback through our university partners is when they're surveying students post deployment. And so it's interesting as you're surveying students who have had a year on campus, and so they've experienced for a year that that prior event calendaring platform, and now they've been on the localist events platform for a couple of months, and then that survey goes out to test and ask, hey, how is your experience? And the feedback is glowing. It's glowing because the students will say it is easier to find the events that I want. It feels more modern. That seems to be one of the comments that we will oftentimes get, just because there are a lot of homegrown event calendars that are out there. And when you're looking at them, you'll see like the box squares on a calendar, right? Where you've got like day 1, day 2, day 3, and you have to kind of sort through that way. So students will oftentimes say, boy, this new platform, this new experience is just so much easier. And then, of course, sometimes the students want new features. And so we've got a way to collect that feedback, and we always appreciate it.
Well, that was the questions that came in. I didn't see anything else coming in. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we take a little break?
No, there really isn't. You know, the one thing I would just say is, for those of you, right, as your directors of events, you know, a lot of times your events are taking place on, you know, they're on campus, and so they're in various areas of campus, and so, you know, one thing I would suggest is, you know, if your campus is using an existing Concept3D interactive map, right? Definitely take advantage of it. I think some of you on this call are an existing customer of ours using interactive maps. And what I would just say is, if your map does not have floor plans, meaning you're not able to show where your event is, definitely let's get in touch with us. Or if you have a really big, like a marquee event coming up, or next year, and you're wanting to move from PDF floor plans or PDF campus maps, and you're thinking, boy, we really need to be able to make commencement better. We need to make orientation better. That is one of the many ways in which you'll see campuses utilizing their interactive map, is to bring all of those unique event details together in one place. And so anyhow, just wanted to share that with you as you're thinking about event experience, and oftentimes the interactive map platform can be a big help to drive that.
All right.